Hi, it's Terry with Early Girls Yarn. Welcome back. How are you? I'm so glad to be here. So happy that my taxes were done. Well, let me go back. They're extended. They're with the accountant at least. That was last week. Thank the good loving Lord. So excited about that. Weather is crazy here. So last week we were 70s. And then it snowed in Chicago. We missed the snow, thank goodness. But it was cold. It was down in the 30s. And now today we're back up in the 70s. So another gorgeous day today. We have been doing all kinds of things. Izzy is super involved. She plays alto sax. So she's had a lot of band things going. A fine arts festival happened. She has rehearsal. And then next Monday she has a big, her whole school district, which since we've moved, we're now in a pretty big school district. There's 422 kids in her class alone, which some of you, I guess, live in bigger cities. But for me, I mean, my graduating class at home was 117 kids. So there's 422 kids in one class, her class. So there's over 800 kids in the district involved in band. And next Monday, they have a huge district-wide concert. So I'm so excited to go see some really awesome music. So I couldn't be more excited about that. So the other thing we've been doing is we have been out with our horse Holly and riding and enjoying her. It's been a long, hard winter, so she's out of shape, just like I'm out of shape. So we're both going to work on being in better shape and taking better care of our little bodies this year. So that's that. In the meantime, I've gotten some knitting in. No finished objects this last week, which I like to think I'm a quick knitter. I love to knit, so I get a good, I would say a minimum of 2 hours every day. Very rarely do I not get 2 hours. But I mean, my husband's, well, his outage is done, so that's super great news. So excited. He's kind of like more of human again, catching up on his sleep, more of our guy again. But even with that, he's still, he works a lot. So he still gets up super early. My girls go to bed by about 7:30. They're in their beds, winding down, reading books. Lights out are at 8. So I've got a good 2 hours that I'm usually by myself, because even when my husband's home, he goes to bed too. Bedtime, it's a serious thing for everyone in our family except me. So he goes to bed at the same time because he's still up at like 5:30, so he can get up and go on his day. So I have a couple hours every night to knit. So that's just what I do. But anyway, so even with all that time that I spend and being I'm not like a speed knitter, but I think I knit a little fast. Even with that, I don't have an FO every week by any means. I'm close though. So one of my works in progress is one I've been talking about for a while. So I'm pretty excited to share with you. It is my Dottie Jane, I believe. Let me make sure I say that. Now I'm like, is it really? Yeah, the Dottie Jane. It was the one with Purl To Walla Walla and Knit Graffiti. They did it together, which is awesome. Here's the picture of the finished shawl. So, and it's with So Happy Jane yarn. So this was the main color for mine. And that's it. I'm done. I don't have any more to use, so I've got a little bit left. I haven't weighed it yet to see how much I have left. And I am it's called the bind off section is what it's called. And I have, it's like this, I'll show you here in a minute. It's a lace. They do like a little bit of lace. I have 4 more rows. No, 2, 4, 6, 8 more rows. No, 4 rows. 4 rows. So 8, like back and forth, it would be 8. That's it. And I'm done. Then I'm binding off. And it's kind of an interesting bind off. It's a peacoat bind off, which I've done before. And then there's bobbles too. But there's a video. Leslie Ann has done a really good job with adding videos if things are tricky. So I'm excited about that. But here it is. Here's my beautiful shawl. Not blocked, obviously, still on the needles, but so fun. Look at that awesome brioche lace section. This is my first time ever doing brioche lace. There's 2 different sections of it. There's a couple just regular brioche. Loving it. So close to being done. Yeah, and that's the back side, because I think brioche looks really cool even on the back. I love these colors. It's like this yellow. It's really just like honey. It feels just really light and springy. The light pink and the honey colors just make it so bright, so light, so springy. So I'm super excited to have this, to be working on this and have this so close. For sure we'll be done by the next time. I always think that I can finish things quicker because I'm like, oh, it's only 4 more rows. That's like no big deal. Well, when you get towards the end, there's more stitches in the needles, and that bind off, I've not watched the video yet, but it's not a regular super simple bind off. So that's going to take me some time to do that. But I know in a week I'll be able to get that done and have that. So that's good. So I've got that project. That one's really close to being done. Really close. So I'm working on that. Other works in progress. Oh yes. So this is, okay. So I mentioned a few weeks ago, my husband and I, our 16th wedding anniversary was April 5th. So last year on our 15th was the first year we had ever done just like a weekend. Because I'm like, it's our 15th wedding anniversary. We can have a whole 2 days for just us. We never do this. We have friends that like go on trips together as couples. We just don't. I don't know why. We like our kids, or I don't know. I don't know why we don't do couples trips, but we don't, or we haven't. But last year we enjoyed it. We just loved connecting. It was so nice. So we decided to do it again. And of course it fell during Randy's outage, so we couldn't do it then. So the weekend after Easter, so not this week coming up, but the next weekend, the 26th and the 27th, we have a friend here, Emily, my friend Emily, who makes the bags. Her oldest daughter, Molly, is a college student here in town. She is going to come over and watch the girls, stay here at the house, watch the girls for 2 days for us, and we are going to Des Moines. So I'm going to talk about the awesome thing. I'll just talk about it now. So as I was researching for the Des Moines trip, I found they are having a yarn crawl on the weekend we're there. And the 27th is local yarn shop day. Couldn't be any better. So all 5 stores are open from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. Jackpot! One of the stores is kind of an outlier as I mapped it. So Randy, he doesn't know this yet, but on our way to Des Moines, we're going to take a detour because, I mean, we're leaving right at 8:30 in the morning. We're going to drop the kids off and leave right away. What else are you going to do at 8:30 in the morning? Like, you're not going to do anything else. You might as well detour me to a great yarn shop. Let's do it. So we're going to do that. We're going to do that yarn shop, and maybe there's one other. We might swing by and do one other on the way into town. And then Saturday morning, Randy really loves to sleep in, and I really do not love to sleep in because I'm like, let's get crack, snapple, popping here, people. So when he's sleeping on Saturday, I'm going to go. I'll probably be up at 6 a.m. and I'll get ready. And then I'm going to the other stores to finish up the yarn crawl. But I mean, that's meant to be, right? I didn't even know this yarn crawl existed. It's called the Mid-Iowa Yarn Crawl. And it's the same weekend as anniversary weekend. And we were debating whether to go to Des Moines or whether to go back towards home because I sponsored a movie with one of my realtors back at home. I'm a loan officer, so I sponsored that with him. And my husband was like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to go and just be us. So I'm like, okay. So there we go. And then the yarn crawl happened. I mean, meant to be. But in that same note, I'm like, okay, I just did the Portland yarn crawl. I have a few more acquisitions that just happened because I shop. I like to get yarn. So I'm like, that's it. I need to use the 2 skeins from last year before I can really feel justified for buying more, right? I mean, I probably would buy anyway, but it just gives me an incentive to get cracking and get stuff going because, if not, then there's no motivation if you're just going to buy and not produce anything, there's no motivation. So, I love my Amba. I love Amba O'Brien patterns. This is Kalara. I'm going to hold it up so you can see the shawl. It is not super difficult. Can you see it? Yeah, I think you can. And I was still, which is ironic because I'm still feeling all the peach feels right now. So it must just be a springtime thing. But here are the colors that I got. And it was Brew City Yarns and the peach. And it's like a linen wool blend. Or silk wool blend, sorry. And then this one was Ba yarn. Aren't those cool? And I just started it. I cast it on the day that I got my taxes turned in, but then I got distracted with some of the other ones that I've done. but that's the beginning of it. It's little itty bitty. That's okay. It's all got to start somewhere, right? So that's that. You can kind of see the colors blend really well. So it's not going to be a very bright defined. It's going to be a really beautiful, just soft shawl, which I think is great for spring. I normally have bright colors, at least some pop of color. So for me, this is, it's a good variation. It's different than what I would normally do, which I've been enjoying in this little bit that started. So my goal, I have a week and a half, and I have a test knit that I just agreed to do and signed up to do. But my goal is to, well, I'm going to finish up the Dottie Ray because it's so close to being done. And then I am really going to focus on this one because my goal is to have it done and to wear it, block it, ends woven in, and wear it when we go on our anniversary weekend. That's my goal, which I think I can do. So that's this one that I guess I technically cast it on, I don't remember now, April, sometime last week I did. So I think that will come along pretty quick once I get clicking and clacking on it. The other one that I did, which I'd been wanting to do and had been waiting for some time, is the awesome Andrea Mowry Birds of a Feather. This one, I think, well, no, I'll probably make that one my car one too. That one's just going to be a focused one in the car because I don't have to think a ton about it. This one's the Birds of a Feather shawl, and this one has been my car knitting, and I knit it. The kids had, they had a dance at school. It was an all school, so it's a K through 6th grade all school dance, and the parents were supposed to be there too. So we were there, and I put a picture on Insta. So I'm like the only mom that is, they're out. It was a neon thing. There was like strobe lights everywhere. It was cute. The kids were having a blast. But, you know, it's dark. There's only so much I'm going to do, so I knit. It was light enough to knit. So I got this section done. I could not do the mohair with it dark. I just couldn't see the little strands, but it's okay. So that's this one. And isn't it? I don't know if you can see how light. Can you see my hands through? I mean, the mohair is just so light and airy, but it just really lightens the shawl up, which I love. But it's really, the colors are kind of working great. I wasn't sure about, I don't use a lot of variegated, but I fell in love. It was from a Canadian dyer. I got the yarn, the variegated yarn at String Theory before we came here a couple of years ago, but I just variegated. I wasn't sure what to do with it. So it's been waiting. And then I'm like, oh yeah, Birds of a Feather, I could totally handle this. So this is from Fleece Artist. It's a national park collection. I don't know which one this is. Let's see if it says. It just says birthday box, but I'm not sure what that means. I don't know. I believe it's the, Forillion QC. Okay. Great Cliffs of Mount St. Alban and Meadows of Fireweed. I don't know. It's a dyer from Canada, and they did national parks of the Canadian national parks, and this is one of the ones that I picked up. And because my wool swap partner, Robin, is from Canada, it kind of all came together. I'm like, I need to use my only, I think the only Canadian yarn I have. So I was feeling very Canadian, so I went for it. So yeah, so that is that project. The Birds of a Feather will I probably will let that sit just for a little bit while I work on my anniversary one, finish up my Dottie Ray, and then I work on my new test knit, which I'm going to show you here in a minute. So yeah, so those are those three. Those are my three that I'm working on. So my Sunset Highway sweater, drama. It had to take a little break for a while, which it has for about a month and a half now. I did go back and finish ripping out the end of the color work, the second try in the color work. And I think once I get some of my test knit done and some of that stuff done, I think I'm going to dive back into that one for my third attempt to finish the bottom of it. So we'll see. But that at least I got to a point where I can start to work on it again when I want to. So that's good, because ripping out's not that fun when it's your second time. But anyway, so that at least I worked on that this week too. So, okay, the other thing, or the other new fun things, because as I finishing up the Dottie Ray, I'm trying to think like, what do I really want to work on next? What do I want to do? And I was kind of surfing Instagram and thinking, I've not done a test knit. I've done some sample knits recently, but I've not done a test knit in such a long time. And I found, which I'm going to put a picture up, I found the Isle Sock Set Cowl by Heather Booz, I believe is her name. On Insta, she is at Yellow Ribbon Crafts. She's a military spouse, which I think is so cool. While I am not a military spouse, my husband was in the military before I met him. So we love our veterans. I'm really excited to know that about her. So that's pretty cool. But it's using these sock sets because I've been, I'm getting a little obsessed with socks, but I haven't knit that many. But I've still been collecting the yarn because, of course I would. And this special one is actually from Allie, my last fiber share partner, and it is the Rocky Mountain National Park in Aspen. So that's this one, which I've shown before. So I put this on Instagram along with this option. This is the Fiber for the People. This was part of their Birds of a Feather Sock Set Club, which I love. So this one's a little more punchy. This one's like a little bit more, calm, cool, and collected. By far, overwhelmingly, this was the choice for the cowl. So I'm going to knit it up in this. I have to do, I've got my needles out. I need to just swatch because Heather was saying that you use every bit of this, so swatch it to make sure you've got the right gauge, which I don't normally. So I found that super interesting because normally when I do cowls, I don't swatch. I'm like, it's fine. It's a cowl. It doesn't need to fit perfect. But this one, she's like, make sure you swatch because you're going to use all of your yarn. Works for me. So that's what I still have to swatch. Then this one, so my daughter loves this Fiber for the People, and so do I. I adore it. I think it's awesome and amazing. So I'm either going to knit two, we'll see, or Heather also just released the Earley Sock Set Shawl. So I'm going to put that up here too because that has piqued my interest as well. So I'm like, well, we'll see how I feel about this. Maybe after the cowl, I'll decide that once I see it in person that it needed this neutral, and I'll wait and I'll do this one as a shawl. And it's, just a little bit more than a one skein shawl. So that's not a very big shawl. I love pops of color and I love throwing that on. So we'll see. I don't know. But both of them are more than likely going to get used very quickly because I'm just on this kick because Heather did this awesome pattern and I'm excited to test knit for her. So we just got the pattern yesterday. I'm going to wind up tonight once we're done with all of our crazy stuff and dinner and everything. I'm going to wind up and do my gauge swatch tonight, and then we'll see. I'll either cast it on tonight or I'll just do my gauge and then I'll cast on tomorrow. So I'm pretty excited about that, but the pattern looks really great, very clear. She's got a great chart, which I love. I love having charts for progress because the visual just helps me and I like to check it off. And if they don't give me a chart, let's see if I can, oh no, I already put that away. If they don't give me a chart, then I write like how many repeats I have to do, and then I write the amount of stitches it increases to, and I check it off and I count my stitches each, logical time that I would, like each group, for example. So I'm pretty methodical when it comes to that, just because I find if I make a mistake, it's easier for me to fix it quickly than getting through 100 rows and being like, oh, there was this mistake on row 2. So that has helped me quite a bit. So I'm so excited about that. I'm really, really excited to have that cowl. You'll see the picture. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can just whip that on and go. I can see like this time right now, this transitional springtime. And then again, when we transition into fall. So for all of you people in the Southern Hemisphere that are transitioning into fall, I just think it's the perfect thing to throw on and go. I really do. So I'm so excited. I think we have till mid-May, if I'm not mistaken, to get that done. So plenty of time. Plenty of time. I'm assuming, we'll see. I'm assuming I'll get it done before then. But you never know. Life happens. But history would tell me that I probably will. So yeah, I'm excited about that. And then, so House of Ala Mode, Heather, the dyer at House of Ala Mode, they do different seasonal knit-alongs, and I don't always participate. I can't always participate, but because I got to see her in when we went to February for that trunk show that she did at Nottingham, I kind of stalked her just a little bit. I'm like, what designer, because I always pick a designer. I'm like, what designer are you using? Because I'd love to get my yarn while I'm here so that I can participate with your yarn. So it was a fingering weight yarn is what I went with. She is pairing up for the spring knit along with Joji Locatelli. So I'm going to knit up Girl from the Grocery Store. So this pattern, which I've been eyeing for forever and just haven't jumped in. So I'm really excited. Now I'm doing mine a little bit differently. I didn't pull my yarn. Well, one of the skeins, so the green, I ended up using the green for my merino shawl. That's actually, I just blocked it. I just put it on the blocking mats right before I recorded, that I got done last week. I'm going to wear that to Easter, I believe. So anyway, I just got done with that and I used that green. So I had to contact Sarah from Murray Wool Goods and Company. And she said that she was kind of out of some yarn and then out of some dye to make it. But her Coastal Forest color, I'm going to be pairing. So the majority, so in Joji's where this green is, the bigger, darker color, that I am going to be doing in the Lumberjack by Heather. So it's kind of gray and green speckled. And the white for me will be my green. It'll be that dark green color, which I think will balance really nicely. Here's a picture of the bigger shawl. Won't it be great? So this green color in Joji's will be my gray speckled, and the white for me will be the dark green. So I'm excited about that. So that starts, you have to cast on, I have to look it up. I think it's April 28th. It's end of the month. This gets cast on. So then I've been racking my brain. I still have not cast on my Rosalie tee. I have not wet blocked. Oh, I should have today. I'll do that. I'm going to do that before I go. I did not spray my little swatch yet. So I haven't done that yet. So there's that knit alongs happening and I haven't done it yet. So I'll do that. But I'm just trying to think, like, what do I really want to knit for that I could wear? Because there's a lot happening right now with people wearing their knits, and I wear my shawls all the time, but I don't have any finished sweaters. I got one sweater done, but my daughter wears it. She stole it. So I am going to do the Soldotna crop by Caitlin Hunter. Everybody is saying that it's knitting up quick. And I showed the yarn just last week that I got from Jawbreaker Yarn. I'm doing it. I thought about it all week. I've had the yarn right here. These are the colors I really envisioned in my head. More of that awesome springy peach. And everybody says it's been knitting up so quick for them. So I'm like, that's it. Done and done. So I've got to do the Dottie Ray shawl first. And then my test knit I want to get done. In my anniversary knit. So this probably will go on beginning of May that's my guess, my educated guess. I am going to skein one up and at least swatch it tonight. Yeah, it uses a size 5 needles, it's saying. So I'm going to skein it up and at least swatch it to see what I think about it and at least start that process. Then after that, I'm going to do my sweater, my 2-week sweater with Amber for Vogue Knitting Live, because Vogue Knitting Live isn't until January, and although I want to cast it all on right now, I think if I did the Soldotna, I think if I got that on, I think I could actually wear it this spring still, which makes me super happy. And then as well, when I transition in the fall, we'll see. Okay, so a little bit more and then I'm done. It was kind of a lighter week, which is awesome. I got some new yarn. Okay, so one of these is a new to me dyer. I've been eyeing her for a while. She's Potion Yarns. And Johanna maybe is her name. I think she's out of Kansas City, I believe. I don't know if she's in the Kansas City, Missouri or Kansas. I think Kansas City, Kansas. Because it borders both Missouri and Kansas. I think it's Kansas though. But anyway, so she had a sale. Some of these yarns, these two are both DK. It was her beauty school dropout as this one in Carnival. I just thought they kind of go well together. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them yet, but I thought that's just fun punches of color. I'm sure, I don't know, a hat or a cowl or something like that is what that will become. And then what really finally got me to try her yarn is she has a mystery club, and it's putting on the Ritz. It's different old Hollywood actors and actresses. So she had Fred Astaire, who I adore, and this was her putting on the Ritz Fred Astaire colorway. I was a little surprised by it. I don't know if I see Fred Astaire in this yet, but it's still a cool colorway. I think it's because he wore really funky and fun hat, bow ties and socks with his suits. I think that's where she pulled the colors from, which is cool. So I don't know what I'm doing with this yet, but I liked it. I'm glad I'm going to try a new dyer and try something fun and different. Then Stitch Together Studios, while back now. I think I got this before we went on the yarn crawl. They had mystery skeins that you could get, and she put them together for you. And it was just a good sale. You didn't know what you were getting though. So I got these 3. I had 2 different ones. This is the first one, and these are all, I think I ended up with all DK. But I don't even think you knew if you were getting DK, if you were getting fingering. I don't think you knew what you were getting. Yep, these are all DK. I'm going to do this one. I think I'm going to do this for the Joji Locatelli, the Odyssey, her Odyssey one, that free pattern that she came out with. That's what I think this is going to become. And I thought, oh, how fun. That's going to be fun. And then I've got these 3, and I really am not sure what I'm going to do with these yet. They're beautiful. I don't know. So I'm going to just kind of let it fester for a little bit. Again, more DK, which I'm loving. But they're so pretty. So pretty. So I don't know. Part of me thinks maybe I'll use this one and finish up the Batiki hat for Cece. Or I might just keep them all and wait for a 3-color pattern. I don't know. But that came in, so I'm excited. But that's my new yarn. That's it. I know it's a lot. I always seem to have a lot of yarn, but whatever, that's fine. This is it for this week, so that's not bad, right? Totally fine. Although I don't think I got enough projects. I didn't get 9 skeins worth of projects finished. So that tells me that I'm getting more than I am using. That's okay, right? Do you guys do that too? I mean, I can't be the only, I know I'm not the only one. That's why we have stashes, right? No worries. So yeah, so that's kind of what I'm thinking. That's where I'm at for the week. I would love to hear what is on your needles right now. I would also love to hear if you plan and know what your next project is. If you're like me, where I've got like my next 3 lined up. And the Birds of a Feather, on a side note, that is from my Make 9. Woohoo! It'll only be my second one from my Make 9 that I have completed, but that is okay because I've gotten plenty of other things done and I have more plans to keep working on my Make 9 projects as well. So that's fine. I'm okay with that. But anyway, thank you so much for hanging with me. I appreciate it greatly. You can find me if you'd like to see a little bit more updates on progress and those types of things on Instagram, Early Girls Yarn, or on Ravelry under Early Girls Yarn as well. I'll make sure to, in the show notes below, I put all the links for all of the dyers, the designers, really anything I talk about. I try and put down there. It's not perfect, but I do the best I can. You can always message me through YouTube or on Insta, and I'll make sure that I respond and try and answer the questions to the best of my ability. Oh, this one, I've realized I'm really bad about talking about what I'm wearing because I have a microphone, so I don't take it off kind of, it's trouble. So this is an Eliana. So 3-4 years ago, there's an Eliana yarn crawl again, but I thought was the coolest thing. Each shawl had each shop had a mini skein, and there were 9 shops, and then they had a free pattern that went with it. So then you would knit that up, and that was your like commemorative like shawl about your trip, which I thought was the coolest idea. And it was really nice. Most shops, just like I'm a yarn shopper, so it's fine. Most shops when I go into, I am buying a project's worth usually. But it was so nice because they had the minis. I felt like I could buy at every shop, even if it wasn't necessarily my vibe. I could still buy a mini and feel like I got this really awesome project and was able to contribute to each shawl as well, or each shop as well. So that is what this is. Hard to see, I guess. We'll see. But that's what this shawl is. So there you go. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. And I will see you next week. Bye, guys.